Alright, hello everybody, my name is Bailey Liang and I'm going to be doing a short video presentation on our final project for Comp 3100. So, starting off, we decided to use a public dataset from Kaggle containing the average heights of both male and female for each country. And so we had the initial idea of how are we going to visualize the data set somehow? And at first, the initial idea was to create a bar chart, but we also wanted to make it kind of interesting too. And eventually, we came up with the idea of creating a visually intuitive representation of the data set using human-shaped graphics. And we took it a step further, and we also wanted to allow custom heights to be created so the user can compare their own heights against the data set. All right, so in order to design the visualizer, we followed MVC design principles taught throughout the course, using node.js, Express, and MongoDB as the backend, and also using HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, along with jQuery and SVG to create the front end, with unit testing done with Mocha. All right, so now that we have a brief introduction to our project, we can move on to the demonstration of what we accomplished so far. Okay, so starting off, we have a visualization of the data set using selectable SVG graphics created with JavaScript drawn on screen here. With each of these corresponding to heights obtained from the data set. And so if we hover over each of these human-shaped graphics, we can see that it displays the actual height data obtained from the data set as centimeters. And furthermore, what we can actually do is we can click on it to pick up and select a shadow of this graphic, allowing us to basically scroll and move it along the screen following the mouse cursor. So we can kind of visually and intuitively compare the different heights in the data set this way. And so we can also decide to switch the shadow in order to select another graphic to compare. And so if we click on this one again, you can see that's working pretty good actually. And then if we want to disable the shadow, we simply click on the same graphic again, and it will remove the shadow. Okay, so before we move on to the controls and buttons up here, we've actually drawn a few lines in the background here, corresponding to the tallest female heights in the data set, as well as the shortest male and female heights of the data set. So the blue lines, the blue straight lines, they correspond to the tallest male. The pink straight lines correspond to the tallest female, and the dashed lines correspond to their respective male and female shortest heights inside the database. Okay, so, oops. I'm going to start with these three buttons here, which allow us to toggle viewing either just the male graphics or just the female graphics, as well as showing both male and female graphics in the visualizer. Over here, we have controls for displaying the height in either metric units or imperial units. And as you can see, it also updates the little text that appears above the graphic too, to imperial units. And over here, we have sorting options for the dataset. So if we want to visualize the males in ascending order, you can see that it's starting from the shortest males, and it should be going up in ascending order up until the Netherlands. I think those are the tallest. Yeah, there we go. Likewise, if we wanted to sort it by females, um, it should be doing that. Yep, so Guatemala. And if we want to toggle the sorting order, we simply press the button again, and it will toggle between ascending and descending order. And this works for all of the sorting buttons here. So name ascending, name descending, all of that's fully implemented. Lastly, we have the reset database button here, and generally this button is used to delete delete all the entries in the database and basically generate it again from the CSV file that we stored on the node server. So if you don't already have the dataset in the MongoDB database already, you might need to press this button to generate it again. Okay, so now that we've covered the basic controls for the visualizer, we can also, create user-defined heights using this form here. So I'm actually going to create a new person. Let's just call it AAAA. And let's say he has a height of 170 centimeters, and he's a male, and we're going to insert it into the data set. So all we have to do is fill out that form, hit submit. It's going to refresh the page. And if we scroll all the way to the end, we can see that our user-generated height is successfully inserted. And we can also use that to insert a female height. So let's do maybe BBBBB. And maybe she's 160 centimeters. So we're just going to submit that again. And if we scroll all the way to the end, we can see that that's successfully generated inside the database as well. And we can also do update functions. We can also perform update operations on it. So if we wanted to update the height of the male height here to maybe 180 centimeters, we can do that. Or actually, maybe we can use imperial units instead to do this. So how tall is he? He is 5'6.9". So let's make him just 5 inches. Or no, 5 feet 2 inches. Let's try that. So we can send an update query to that and show imperial units. And it should update to, there we go, 5 feet 2 inches. And obviously it works for both genders too. So we wanted to make her a little bit taller, so maybe she's 6 feet for some reason. We can send an update operation to the server, and it will perform that accordingly. And so switch that to imperial. There we go, 6 feet. And last but not least, we can also do delete operations. So if we wanted to remove the user-defined heights that we just made, all we have to do is specify the names, hit submit on the form, and there we go, removed from the database. We can also remove this guy as well. So there we go. And we're back to the vanilla database. And so an additional thing about this form is that it uses the built-in form validation. So if we try to submit that, it should fail because, actually, was this alphanumeric? Lowercase alphanumeric. Okay, so you can enter numbers in there. In that case, I'm going to enter something a little bit easier so I can just delete it. But there we go. Insert female submit, and there we go. Newly created height, user-defined height. Anyway, that wraps up our video presentation for our project, and we hope it was informative. Thank you.